Hey everyone, welcome back to Guitars, Whiskey, and Golf. Appreciate you joining me today. Before we jump into this, I hope you'll think about subscribing to the channel. We get into whiskey reviews and cocktail lessons. I also discuss guitar playing and give you some guitar tips, as well as golf tips, and I've even started getting into some fitness tips, especially related to golf. So if you're into golf, you're into music, you're into whiskey, this is the channel for you, and I hope you'll think about subscribing. So, what do we got today? We've got Rebel Distillers Collection. So, full disclosure, I don't really know a lot about Rebel products. Rebel has a lot of products out there, but the Distillers Collection is the only Rebel so far that I've tried. And shout out to my buddy and colleague Kirk Mormon. He was at the distillery and picked this up for me, but it's widely available and you can get it. So you don't. It's not necessarily a distillery only. So Rebel is owned by Lux Row, so that's their parent company. So what do we've got here? We've got, first of all, it's a wheated bourbon. So the secondary grain in this whiskey is wheat rather than rye. It's 113 proof. So we've got a great proof point. Wheated bourbon. It is non-age stated, but the whiskey, the bottle, which is really cool, by the way, the bottle does tell you exactly what barrel this comes from. So it's a single barrel. It also tells you the exact date the barrel was filled, which in this case was November of 2016. So I got this bottle in 2022. So, suffice it to say, this is probably somewhere around a 5 to 6 year age product. Rebel also has a 10-year single barrel that I'm going to be looking for in the future. Haven't picked it up yet. So I've been sipping on this whiskey for the last couple of days in preparation for this review. I didn't want to necessarily just take a sip, do a review. I wanted to actually sit with this one for a couple of days, make sure I've tasted it thoroughly, I've nosed it carefully to give you guys the most in-depth review that I can and the best recommendation I can. So let's get into the nose. So right off the bat, I get honey. So rather than caramel or brown sugar, I'm getting something a little lighter on the sweetness. So, it's more like a honey nose to me. I really like it. I'm also getting like a shortbread cookie. So honey, shortbread cookie, definitely some spice, maybe orange peel, maybe a touch of cinnamon. So I'm really liking the nose as this bottle is opened up. Really enjoying that. Let's get into the taste. The front of the palate's got that sweetness, that honey sweetness. Very, very nice. The mid palate is kind of a cinnamon bomb, which I'm also really liking. And then the finish, which is not incredibly long, but I would call it medium, is interesting too. The finish goes earthy for me. There is a bit of a nuttiness, which is interesting. I wouldn't expect sort of a nutty characteristic on a wheater. And then you get a little bit of almost like a bready, wheat bread kind of a finish that lingers. It's got that cinnamon punch, maybe almost like a hot tamale in the mid palate. Sweet on the front from the honey. Like I said, the back palate, as it lingers, is kind of earthy, wheat bread. So, I am really, really liking this Distillers Collection single barrel, 113 proof wheated bourbon from Rebel. For me, this is a buy. Uh, it's retails about 49 bucks, I think. So I think it's got, it's probably a little young, but not in the sense where you get nothing but graininess or anything like that. This has got some depth of flavor, some complexity to it. And the depths and the layers are layers that I like. Like I said, sweet up front, mid palate, cinnamon, red hot tamale, mid palate, back palate, and earthiness, almost like a wheat bread kind of a thing. So for me, it's a buy. If you compare this, say, to like a Larceny Barrel Proof, which why wouldn't you? Larceny Barrel Proofs are aged, I think, generally 6 to 8 years. They're wheaters also. Um, but Larceny Barrel Proof, they're getting up in prices right now. A lot of the Larceny Barrel Proofs that I'm seeing out in my local market are 70 bucks. This is more like, I think I might have said 49. It's actually 59. So 59 bucks as opposed to like a Larceny Barrel Proof, which is more like in the 70 and may even, venture up into the $79 range, depending on the liquor store that you're at. So I personally think this is a good value for your money at the proof point, the complexity of the flavors that you're getting, a super inviting nose. So for me, Distillers Collection from Rebel is a buy, definitely. If you like wheated bourbons, I think this is a good one. I'm actually excited to try the Rebel 10-year single barrel to see what that's all about. So I'll leave you with that. See you at the next video. I'm preparing a little video on Tennessee whiskey, the classic country tune, Tennessee whiskey, originally done by George Jones, and now it's famous by Chris Stapleton, obviously. So look forward to that one, and we'll see you later.